I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I wanted to.
Absolutely.
We think Vince is on a bit of a delay.
So I wanted to start off asking you, Luke, about writing the script for the film and what that experience was like, and where maybe the idea for the story came from.
Sure. Yeah, the story was a bit of art imitating life. All three of us had kind of worked together doing sketch comedy with Funny or Die, Will Ferrell's website, and then we made a movie called Fear Inc. in 2016. And I think we had what felt like a lot of momentum that we then thought would transition immediately into us all having a TV show or a massive studio movie. And a couple years in, we had been pitching and had certain successes here and now, but hadn't had that yet. And at one point, I think, I don't know if it was War Room or one of these Christian movies had come out that had made like $30 or $40 million. And I looked at Vince and I said, we should just make a Christian movie, intentionally bad, but like has all the things that you need to be successful. And we'll use all that money that we made and then make these projects of our own that people are saying no to. And that started off as a joke, but then kind of evolved into a pitch for a TV show, which then evolved into a feature film script. And then we went about making it. And we kind of ended up using more of the idea of that as kind of the backdrop. So it's like we eventually didn't want to just make a movie about the Christian film industry or make scary movie, version of Scream for the Christian film industry. We wanted to make a movie about friendship and finding your purpose and kind of a buddy comedy. And then we decided to still use that original funny idea as kind of the backdrop as to what these guys are doing.
And then, Vincent, I wanted to ask you about going on to direct the film and what that experience was like, having worked together before and really going into directing this film in particular as well.
Yeah, well, faith-based from the beginning was something that our initial conversation was, what can we go make that is going to cost us no money, that we can shoot with our friends and use our cell phones. And I think when you start a project that way, as opposed to trying to make a movie that is going to sell or a movie that has to have a certain caliber of talent so it has different value, you approach it differently. And so from the beginning, it was just a passion project that we wanted to tell this story that had some personal elements to it. And it was about friendship. And, you're seeing Luke and Tanner as versions of themselves, and we're all friends. So we kind of had this family sort of vibe from the beginning, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you get bigger cameras, and you get actors like Lance Reddick and Margaret Cho and David Koechner, and then Jason Alexander shows up, and you've got this, and now we're talking to you about it. It becomes this really cool thing that we didn't necessarily intend it to be, but now we're super excited about it.
And also in terms of acting and the casting, Tanner and Luke, I wanted to ask you too in particular about what that experience was like of going on to star in the film and just the overall casting as well for the film.
Ooh, Luke, you want to talk about casting, I guess? Or?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, casting, we did I think what worked really well for this was we wanted the movie to feel very real, even though it's kind of a silly comedy. And so Tanner and I are real life close friends. We stuck with our names, and we basically just decided to kind of do whatever we could to make sure that whatever chemistry we had in real life worked on camera. And so it started there, and then we kind of did the same thing with other real life friends. And we said, okay, here's these friends that are talented working actors. Let's call in this favor and have them come out and it really feel like we're at the bar with our friends and that we're making this movie with our friends. And so you kind of had these layers of like real life friends, kind of creating what was hopefully a really nice chemistry in the movie. And then by the time you get to the people that didn't know us as well, like the Lance and the Jasons and Margaret of the world, they're kind of coming into this to make it better and elevate the whole thing. And it was just all like a really nice organic process in that sense.
There was definitely like a feeling and an energy when it was sort of just us, so to speak, like shooting these scenes, and that was super normal and comfortable. It's like, we've done that hundreds of times before, and then somebody like Lance Reddick steps onto set, or even with Jason, one of those people steps onto set, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I better try and be really good today, and hopefully convince the actual famous actor that you deserve to be in this scene with them.
Did you all maybe improv at all, since there is some humor in the film, or did you mainly stick to the script? And what was that like on set as well, of maybe creating moments in the moment on set while you were filming?
Yeah, we would definitely improv. We would basically try to get what was written and then do some takes where we would improv. And so I think the stuff that's just Tanner and I, we probably improvised the most, because once we got it, it was just the two of us, and we could kind of riff back and forth. And then it kind of like got progressively less improvised as more traditional trained actors came in, and they kind of stuck to, like Jason and Lance, more stuck to the script, but would always give us a totally different version of the script. But it was a little bit of a mix there, I guess.
And did you all have a chance maybe to rehearse with the rest of the cast, or did you maybe like just want everything to flow organically while you were filming, or what was that experience like of getting to maybe rehearse with the rest of the cast as well?
We didn't do much rehearsal before shooting. On a movie like this, you can't afford rehearsal days. So we'd leave a little bit of time before we'd shoot to run through the scene. But for the most part, like I know the guys would work on stuff. Luke and Tanner would work on stuff, and would work on some stuff with some of the other actors. But I think at best it was like before we'd shoot, they'd go through it, and then we'd shoot and see how it works, and then we're like, okay, let's make some tweaks, and then do it again. But it's like we shot this movie in 18 days, and that's so it's like you kind of just need to know what you're doing and just go for it and hope that it works at the end.
And also, one other aspect of the film that I wanted to ask about is the special effects elements, and what was that experience like of creating that side of the story and for the film overall as well?
Well, when we hired ILM to do our VFX for A Prayer in Space, they really blew us away because they've only worked on a few small movies before. No, when you come up with an idea to do A Prayer in Space, which when we talked about it in the script phase was one thing, and then when we get to set and we're like, actually, how are we going to make Mars? How are we going to do that? It becomes a different conversation. We had a talented friend who did all the VFX shots, Michael Green, who, everything is low budget on this movie. Everyone's kind of doing a little bit of everything. And he's just a super talented artist who did this all. He did it. I think he was living in Florida at the time, all remotely. And it was just, like, here's a shot, and you do it and send it back to us. And, the conversation for Prayer in Space VFX was really like, okay, how do Luke and Tanner, the characters, make something that to them is impressive, but to the audience is a little bit cheesy, but still doesn't look super bad. So it was like this fine line of like, do we put a green alien monster in the background, which we ended up doing and gets a laugh every time. Those were the kind of the weird conversations that we were having about VFX.
And also, speaking of making the film independently, Luke, I also wanted to ask you about also being one of the producers as well, and what that experience was like for you during shooting and producing and acting overall as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we come from kind of the world of, like I said, like Funny or Die, like creating these kind of short form comedy sketches where you're essentially doing a little bit of everything. And so I think we took that to this movie and said, we would do these Funny or Die videos where we would shoot them for, when you no money or $500 or something. And everybody that was on set was 100% there because they wanted to have fun and make something great. Nobody was there for the paycheck. And there's an energy about that it's really hard to emulate when you get into people getting paid good money, because it just becomes a job to people. And so we really set out to basically make 18 Funny or Die videos. So we tried to treat every day as if that energy that we had, where people are not there for the money, they're there to make something great. And it felt that way. Like every day on set felt like an energy I had never experienced on a feature film set. And so I guess to answer your question, we're all used to doing a little bit of everything, producing short form stuff, and we just kind of took that to this. And so it didn't feel that different. And it definitely, I think, gave me a confidence of kind of putting things in your own control and saying, like, we can keep making our own stuff. We don't have to kind of rely on somebody else to say yes at the end of the day. And I think that's a nice mindset to have moving forward.
And also, I wanted to ask about the locations and the settings and what that process was like of deciding where you wanted to film and just the production design for the film overall as well.
It's funny trying to figure out like where do we want to shoot the film. That discussion kind of turned into what do we have, and what we have is we all three of us live within a couple miles of each other. We live in the Los Angeles Valley, and so we shot at our houses. And we shot at Vince's church, and we shot at a bar that Luke and I used to work at. And so a lot of it was just like, what's here and what is free, who's willing to do us a favor. And so that's where a lot of the locations.
It also weirdly, it was 100% because of budget, obviously, but it also did add to the whole idea that I spoke on about Tanner and I trying to make sure we had that chemistry. It's like making it as true to life as possible, I think makes everything organically feel more real. And so when we would go to the bar that we would literally hang out at in real life with our real life friends, it's hard for that not to feel natural because it's real, you know?
And also, I wanted to ask about the experience of getting to bring the movie out to the festival circuit and share it with audiences at festivals overall as well.
It was very short.
Yeah, we got super duper lucky, right? There were so many people out there who made so many films who were about to have these like really great festival experiences, and then we all know what happened, and they didn't get to have those festival experiences. And so I do feel sorry for those people. Because we went up, we had our world premiere at Santa Barbara, we had an absolutely amazing experience. That the festival was so kind to us, the people were wonderful to us, and it's Santa Barbara is also close enough to LA that we could talk all our friends into coming up to watch the movie. So for us, it was absolutely amazing.
And also now after the festival circuit ended, I also wanted to ask about the upcoming official release next week as well, and what that experience was like of deciding how you wanted to officially release the movie now as well.
Well, I think at this point we're basically pushing people towards watching it safely in your home. You know, it's kind of like the theater world is so a week by week situation, and even the ones that are open where it just kind of feels like that's probably not the best way to watch it. And so we're excited. I mean, it's very tragic why so many people are home and can watch movies, but at the same time, there's never been so many people home watching movies. And so we hope that we're putting something positive out in the world that can maybe make someone's Friday night a little bit better, versus, something dark and brooding that just kind of is a mirror to the rest of the current state of the world. So we're excited. I hope people can watch it safely at home and enjoy it.
And we're talking about trying to create some special experiences, like, drive-ins are conversation that we're having, and it's really just about like, let's get the movie out first and push people to, while they're home, hopefully have, like Luke said, have something fun to watch. And then if there's opportunities that pop up that make sense, that are safe, and a fun way to watch this movie, we're lucky we have a really fun project, and getting people to go out and have a date night to go see it, if that makes sense, would be cool. So, all options are open right now. And I know our distribution company is very proud of the movie and is going to do everything to make sure as many people as possible can see it. So we're really excited.
Do you feel that having a movie like this one that does have so much humor and sci-fi effects mixed in will help people like feel better about what's going on and really maybe bring laughs? And what do you hope that people can really take away from it, especially during this time of the pandemic as well?
I mean, you said it. I mean, there's a lot of dark, depressing information through our social media feeds and on the news, just like constantly bombarding us, especially this year. I know that was one of the reasons we wanted to make this movie in the first place, and that was back in 2019. We had no idea 2020 was going to be the way it is. So I hope, you know, people enjoy themselves for 90 minutes. I hope they laugh. I hope they, you know, catch some of the universal themes that we tried to incorporate into the movie about friendship and finding purpose in your life, and the idea of community and how we all need it. And, you know, talk about, you know, a crazy year where we've all been pulled away from our communities. You know, this movie really talks about the different communities in life and how they can come together and accomplish something next to impossible. So, you know, if people walk away happy and laughing and had a good time and having interesting conversations about life and maybe religion or whatever, that's kind of what I hope, at least.
And Luke and Tanner, did you want to add anything to that as well? And just what your thoughts about having this type of movie out now during the pandemic as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just like second what everything Vince said. There's also, I don't know, my favorite thing about a movie is like when you watch that movie and then you feel like, I don't know, we all do this to some degree, I think, where you feel like you could be friends with the people in that movie. And that would be my hope, is that as people watch this, not only do they laugh, not only do they get something to talk about or whatever, but maybe for the 90 minutes they feel like they're friends enough with us that they would go back and like watch it again, because we talk like and look like and maybe behave like people that they actually know. That would be my hope, is that they feel that kind of a connection to the movie.
Okay, I think that was mainly it. But thank you all for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Karen.
Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, you too.
Thanks. Bye.